Jay here for Stretford Paddock. Spurs 4, Manchester United 3. The Reds going out of the Carabao Cup in a pretty amazing game in many respects. I think amazing is the wrong word, but just a crazy game. Not seen anything like it, to be honest with you. It was just a tale of two goalkeepers and like a competition to see which one of the two teams had the worst goalkeeper. And on the night, United won or lost that competition, if that makes sense. Joining me is Nathan Ellington. I've got Joe Sealey and I've got Finn, Academy Scoop. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Nathan, I'll start with you. I mean, United got off to a poor start, if we're being brutally honest. We didn't really get going in that first half. We had some of the ball, possession was quite even, but didn't really create anything, didn't really test Forstone. We'll get to him in a minute. But, we kind of just let Spurs have a little bit more of the ball in our third than we did in theirs. And it made the difference in that first sort of 45, or if say 46, because it was the first half, and then the minute after the second half began.
They scored again, didn't they? So yeah. So when I looked at the starting lineup, that's what my concern was, that we're not going to have too much going forward, and it proved that. We had some good passages of play, but didn't really create anything. And I was just hoping that as soon as we bring on some players, we can then get to our game, and that's what really happened. But it's a bit too little, too late, wasn't it? We went down to 2-0 before we was able to go at it. And, we put pressure on and we started creating chances. And then, again, like you say, the keeper started messing about. So, they tried their best to bring us back into it. So, and in the end, we ended up with the best of the worst keepers.
Joe, you were getting annoyed at that first goal.
Yeah.
And if you were getting annoyed at that one, I don't know what you must have been thinking for the rest of them. I know you're obviously happy to see Forster conceding goals, but it wasn't a great advert for goalkeeping tonight, was it? I mean,
no, it was terrible.
The only reason we were back in the game was because Forster had an absolute nightmare performance. Yeah. But the only reason Spurs ended up winning was because Bayern didn't do much better.
I think what you've watched, I mean, one of them's 37, 38 years old, and the other one's probably never going to play for the other club again. Right. So, for me, I think you get your chance in goal, especially at these big clubs like Manchester United, and you get one chance. And you get one chance if you start doing that. It's a little bit like Taibbi, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
He's let a corner in. To be fair, the corner before I said he nearly did that.
Yeah.
He got underneath it. But as the corner goes in, I mean, it's worse than the first one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, directly from a corner is like under nines football on a Sunday, isn't it? Like, literally,
yeah.
It can't happen.
True.
It can't happen.
True.
There's no words. I mean, he'll be feeling horrendous, won't he, as well? So he'll walk in knowing.
Yeah, I don't like hammering players, because he'll know he's been bad. Yeah. He doesn't get many games, and when he has got a game, he's had an absolute shocker. Finn, I don't want to focus too much on them. We'll get back to the goalkeeper in a minute. Get involved in the chat and the comments and make sure you are hitting that like button. But I'm not just trying to put a positive spin on it, but can you take positives from the fact that we kept going, we made a game of it? I know Forster obviously helped us, but there was a fight in United that's been missing often this season. Yeah. There was a determination and desire and almost a belief, especially when you've got Amad Diallo on the pitch. It's like, as long as he's on the pitch, I kind of feel like we can, there's always hope.
I mean, yeah, you can't really take anything away from United for scoring those goals. We forced the mistakes. Ahmad's pressing, which we've seen so many times from him this season, created that mistake and that goal. And so I think there are definitely positives to take from it. There are a few fine margins moments, like I think Eriksen had 2 similar chances on the cutback, where maybe if his finish is slightly better, it's a goal. And when Bruno played Højlund through, if he took slightly a wider touch, then he might have been able to get a shot off. So, we had our opportunities and we showed a real fight and desire, especially in those closing stages. And it came down to mistakes and fine margins in the end that, on another day, maybe with a bit of luck, it goes United's way. So, I don't think you can take a huge amount of negatives from it. I don't think it really impacts, the rest of our season in any way, and it doesn't take away from what Amorim's doing and what he's been building. Because I think for large portions we did play quite well. Maybe we were a bit easy to play through, but some of those attacking sequences were encouraging. So. A bit of a mixed bag for me.
It was a mixed bag, Nate, because it's not. I don't want to just focus on the goalkeeper. As Joe said, he'll know he's had a bit of a nightmare. Everyone can see that, but he wasn't helped at times by mistakes throughout his defence. Martinez was very erratic tonight. Very erratic. Some mistakes. I forget, was it the second goal, I think, where he doesn't clear it properly, just sort of just passes it to Kulusevski. A player of Martinez's standards, he's got to do better.
Yeah, so, since he's come back from injury, before he came back from injury, I was like, man, this guy is unbelievable. Like, everything he does. I know he might not be the best 1v1 defender, but I was like, he's pretty much one of the most valuable defenders in the league. Since he's come back, he has not looked the same as then, quite as good. But today, he flicked a leg at it and he's played it right into Solanke's path, and now then he's gone and finished. I think it was Solanke who scored that one, and then the other one and Solanke's come inside and then hit it through Evans' legs as well. So I think he came inside and he's beaten him quite easily in there. Maybe he shouldn't be able to do that. Maybe his positioning, I don't know too much about the defending side, but I wouldn't like to see my defender get beaten like that. I'd have to ask questions from other experienced defenders going, listen, should he be closer there? Should he
I'm not a defender, but that, for me, it looked like he
just beat him too easily, didn't he?
He's nowhere near him. By the time Solanke gets his shot off, Martinez is nowhere near him. It just felt... The thing with Martinez as well, the thing that I sort of look at that and I think that's not right is because you mentioned there before that injury, he wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting turned and being left like that in the manner he was. He was pretty, almost, not completely, but almost faultless in many of his games. So that was a real surprise to me that Solanke had it so easily when he scored. I know it was a good turn, but still it felt...
I don't even think he did a little shimmy before he moved to the right. He just went to the right and he's beaten him. So I'd like to see someone go drop a shoulder and go to the right and then go, you know what, he did well, hands up, he's better. They didn't really do that. So
sorry, I didn't mean to swear you up. Well, I've got that up there. The expected goals, 2.38 for Man United, 0.67 for Spurs, which tells its own story, doesn't it? Because I don't know what the expected goals are directly from the corner, but they can't be very high. The some of the other goals as well, you think probably were long range effort. Well, one was a long range effort, but yeah, it wasn't a great day. Joe, some players we talked about Bayern obviously doesn't play very often. Yeah. Other players, he did mix it up a little bit. Christian Eriksen and Antony are the two main ones who don't usually start for Manchester United, certainly not anymore. What did you make of them? So do you think they've given the manager anything to think about, or was you disappointed that they didn't do more, given an opportunity to play in a quarter-final for Manchester United?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think they are what they are for us. Yeah. I think I look at Eriksen, as I said before the game, I think we want him. He's rotational. He's good on the ball, and he does what he says on the tin, and he does it well. Antony, I think he's improved since the new manager's changed in the role he's put in. But for me, in this league, he is not the answer. He's not quick enough. He's not strong enough. He's not dynamic enough. Maybe going backwards, up and down. Maybe he can run. Maybe he's got good legs for the engine. And he does a job. But long term, and the money we paid for him, he don't play in that system. And then when we do change him, and Ahmed comes on, and we go a bit higher, you saw the difference in the game.
Yes,
we pushed Tottenham back 10 more yards. They sat deeper. They were making mistakes. Yes, Foster's made the two mistakes because we pressed him.
Yeah,
he shouldn't do it, but it only happened because we pressed. Before that, we were nowhere near him. So for me, Antony's a no for me. Eriksen, I like.
Finn, you're usually quite balanced and fair players. What did you make of the fringe players that came in tonight, like the likes of Antony and Eriksen?
Yeah, I don't think any of them set the world alight, to be honest. Like you've just said, it's they do kind of what you expect of them, but nothing that would kind of change or sway my decision making in terms of their future at the club. Just nothing of particular standout quality that can be kind of taken into the rest of the season. I thought Antony was he made a few decent passes in the first half, and then I think he just went missing a bit, really. So yeah, nothing really stood out to me.
Yeah, Nate, could I just ask you, one or two players who can do a lot better? Well, I want to say one or two. Like we mentioned, Mazraoui was getting a little bit stick in the comments. Not stick, but people saying he wasn't quite his usual self today. What did you make of players like Mazraoui, also Delo? Do you think they had a good game? Do you think it was a decent game? Just maybe they've had better ones.
Yeah, they've definitely had better ones. I think Mazraoui, we've not actually seen him make even any mistakes really for so many games, and we're always looking at him going, wow, he's, you know.
I don't think he was that bad tonight.
He wasn't.
I'll be honest with you.
He
I was a bit
wasn't.
I was a bit surprised he was getting some stick in the chat.
By his standards.
Yeah, I thought he was
exactly.
all right. I thought it was like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But then Dalot played okay.
Yeah.
He didn't do too bad, to be fair. His touch was much better today. When the balls came over, I was thinking, okay, let's see. And it was a good touch. So, and he was quite, you know, trying to get forward and cross balls with his left foot at times. So yeah, he did okay. But obviously, we do want to see someone coming in there on the left and being more comfortable over there. But yeah, I think they did okay, to be honest. I'm not too disappointed with them.
Saha Shetty, sorry. So there's a common theme I've noticed, even in the 3-0 loss at home, was a lack of legs in midfield. Ericsson and Bruno are slow and easily out-muscled. Spurs eventually got tired and we got back into the game. One guy who kept going, and I get why he did it eventually, because he brought him off to bring on another attacker, was Manuel Ugarte. I mean, just another good performance from him, innit? He's just racking them up now, isn't he?
He's just been superb for us, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Every game he starts, he looks better. The more and more you watch him, the more and more play breaks up, the more and more even his fouls are intelligent.
Yeah.
He's an intelligent player,
Yeah.
and he's what we need to improve. He is improving that team. We are better with him in that team than without him. And that's one of the players that we have only signed in the last 4 years, 5 years, where I thought actually he has improved that team.
Yeah.
Straight away when he plays. And we want him on that team sheet now, don't we? Where sometimes before players coming in, and I don't want to pick on him, but you go, not really bothered, even with his playing or not playing. But he is a massive game changer for us in the season and long term.
Just before I go to you, I'll just read out a couple of chats. Discombobulate says, starting to lose patience with Dalot, giving away needless fouls when we had them on the ropes at 3-2. Just isn't it. A fool named Huggy says, it's the same old names, doing the same old performances. I'll name this podcast later. Says he's been good yet, people in the chat. He's not good at right back. Too many game day fans. I think he's talking about Mazraoui, I think. Go on, you was going to say something, Nath.
Just one thing about Euro, I just noticed there. So with the overlap, you see like, you had the right-sided player who was marking the man on the ball, but then when Maddison went around, Euro was also trying to mark the man on the ball, and then the overlap just got in when Euro should have been seeing that run and going, you'll stay with the man, I'm going with the runner.
Yeah.
So that's something he's going to have to learn, because he wasn't so comfortable on the ball. Under pressure, he kind of had to clear some balls which went straight to them a few times. I know he was good with one-on-one, which we know he is. But again, I think that's some stuff that he will learn. He'll probably watch back the video on this and go, right, you see there, when that happens now, you make sure you go with the runner, because you've got to be able to cut that out. And he'll learn from that and get better and better each week. But it's just something I just saw, on the TV there. So, yeah.
This you say about he'll learn. You're right. And I feel like I keep saying this, it is almost like there is an element of pre-season to all this.
Yeah.
You've got a manager who gives everyone a chance. He mixes it up, and someone in the chat is saying, you don't swap players around for a quarter final of the cup. But with the games are thick and fast. They're every 3 days. You can't play everyone all the time. Like, you can't play the same 11. And maybe that was one of Ten Hag's faults, if you will. I mean, I know he did well in the cup competitions, but he always seemed to sort of stick at times with the same 11, and then you're getting a lot of injuries, you're getting players missing, and Ruben Amorim is giving players a chance. He is mixing it up. He is sort of, still finding his best 11.
He's got to see who's good,
because as well in the summer, he's got to go into the summer, into Ineos, and go, right, me and Steve were talking about this, he'll go, right, these are the players I can work with, these are the players you need to move on, these are the players maybe, they can play a small part, but they're not going to get many minutes or whatever. And the only way he's going to find that out is by giving players a chance. Finn, just before we wrap up, I want to ask you about Alejandro Garnacho. Had a little bit of stick sort of after the derby, because obviously he got dropped. What's happened with Marcus Rashford seems to have taken the attention slightly away from Garnacho. He's done the right thing. The manager said he did well in training, back in the squad. You want to see that from a player. Came on tonight, didn't really get going, I didn't feel. What did you make of his performance? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, you may disagree.
Yeah, no, I do agree. He came on and didn't stand out that much. I thought we could have involved him in play a little bit more. We didn't get him on the ball.
That's
as
a fair
much
comment.
As, he usually is able to have quite a lot of impact, just in terms of he's always picking up dangerous positions and making clever runs. We didn't really get him into the game. I'd say in terms of where his career is at right now, I think he almost broke through a little bit early, ahead of his own kind of development schedule. He was never he was a standout of that youth cup side, but he wasn't on someone like Kobbie Mainoo's level at
Yeah.
that point. And I think maybe we forget that he is still a raw young player who has a lot of developing to do. And I think people get onto him a little bit for maybe some, personality things off the pitch, but I think he needs to be given a bit of patience because he's not always going to be a saviour. I think people have maybe built him up to be something that he's not yet. So I think he needs a bit of patience, to be honest.
I agree with that. Sahaj Shetty says wing backs and the double pivot is essential to this system, and unfortunately our pivot lacks honestly, I've given up with speaking. Dynamism. And wingers can't cross. You talk about wingers a lot, don't you? At United, it can be very frustrating if you're a striker. Just finally, I mean, what did you make of our attack today? On the whole,
it's the second half.
Yeah, the second half was good. When the first half
there's not much there at all because we didn't have the players that could do. But I don't think Bruno did okay up there. But it's just like it's makeshift, isn't it? It's not like a comfortable front three there. Højlund didn't really get any service. Anthony was non-existent in attack at all. He didn't do nothing. I don't want to see him in the 10. That's what I was saying. I'd rather he was one of the wing backs and put someone else up there, even if it's anyone else, to be honest. But because I can't see him doing that. But as soon as second half came, I felt like we controlled the game. Yeah. Like we controlled Tottenham. First half, what were we saying? We were saying Tottenham, look at them, and they look a little bit much more sharper than us. They've got more about their game. Although they didn't really do a lot, but they still looked more like they were gonna get goals. Got one, could have had maybe 2 or 3, and then, like I say, we would look much better. Like you see, 20 shots, looked like we had expected goals. That second half, it was fun to watch, even though we were behind. I was enjoying it.
Yeah. I
agree.
You feel like there is a bit of that going on at the minute, even though it's a bit frustrating. Still, Amorim, there's a bit of positivity there. It's exciting. I know you don't want to be on the end of a 7-goal thriller. You want to win. But, it does feel like with Amorim, there's always that little bit of positivity. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that you can see the pattern of play. You can see what he's trying to do. It's an improvement already.
Yeah.
If it's an improvement, as fans, we're happy.
Yeah.
At the minute, he obviously needs to carry on.
Yeah.
But you can see him trying to implement what he's got with what he's got. So, when we get, January's transfer window, maybe one comes in. But when we get to the summer, that's his chance. A few changes. It'll take time, but I like what he's doing. I like what he's about.
Yeah, I agree. I do too. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Finn. Don't forget, if you're not done already, to hit like, share and subscribe. Manchester United out of the Carabao Cup. An exciting game, but, it's only the Carabao. We've won it twice, haven't we, in the last 2 years? So
You're trying to kill me every time.
That's been Nathan, that's been Joe, that's been Finn. I've been Jay. Thanks for watching.
See you later.